Welcome to Justice, a lawyer's hangout, where we dissect legal issues and educate the public on the law. I am Chizaram Lillian Oyike, and here with me are my colleagues, Barrister Munirat Adama and Barrister Ayodele Samuel Adepitan, if I pronounce that right. Welcome.
Thank you.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing freedom of expression and social media regulations in Nigeria. Section 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees every citizen the right to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions. But in today's digital age, this right is being consistently tested daily. We've seen people lose their jobs or face legal actions over social media posts. Now, this brings us to the question, where does free speech end and where does that responsibility begin? Now, the first question I'm going to ask is for Barrister Munirat. Yes. Please, I want to ask you, what does freedom of expression mean under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And do you think that people should be allowed to say whatever they want to say online, or are there boundaries to this?
Thank you, Chizaram.
You're welcome.
First of Section 39 of the Constitution
Okay.
guarantee every Nigerian the freedom of speech and expression,
Yes, please.
whichever one you want. And this is, to break it down, it means for you to receive information,
Yes.
impart it, process it, whichever way you want and however way you want to do it.
Yes.
But it is not absolute.
Okay.
By the time you start processing this information you have received, and then it's encroaching on someone else's fundamental rights, e.g. defamation, or even a threat to someone else, then that freedom of expression is not absolute.
Absolute.
Yes. So yes, while you have the rights to say whatever you want to say on social media, physically or whatsoever, don't encroach on someone else's right as at the time you are doing it.
Because I remember at the time when we were in the university, they used to teach us that freedom of expression is like a rose with thorns, in the
Yes.
sense that you are free to express yourself on the media, but
Exactly.
in the sense that the fact that you're expressing yourself doesn't mean that you should encroach on other people's rights because they can sue you for defamation of character.
Exactly.
Okay, so Barrister Ayodele, I'm so sorry I keep pronouncing your name. So would you say that the right of freedom of expression under Section 39 is absolute? I mean, I think she already mentioned, but I would want you to like throw a little more light to it.
All right, thank you.
Or do you also think that there are legal restrictions to these rights? And what are those legal restrictions?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Just as established by my most learned colleague,
Yes.
the freedom of expression is not absolute.
Okay.
Of a truth, Section 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, provides for freedom of expression and of the press, which means you can make known your opinion and how you feel, but there is a clause there. So it is not absolute, as I've said. And looking down to that Section 39, subsection 3 of the same Section
Section.
39
Yes.
provide for restriction. It provides for states to enact laws
Laws. Okay.
to checkmate this aspect of freedom of expression and of the press.
Okay.
Now, what does states have to do as to those laws? Now, they make those laws to safeguard the interest of defense. That's one.
Okay.
2, interest of public safety. That's 2. 3, public morality. Then 4, public order. And lastly, the defense of others. Now, it cannot be overemphasized that where your rights stop, that's where
Where
the
100% rights begins. Yes.
And in as possible, we are humans, we are human beings, but there's a levels to some of these things. I can't come to the public space and start insulting the president of the
For the Republic of Nigeria. Okay.
quote or not quote, whether you don't want to wrote to me or
Or
you
not.
don't say it to me.
But
If-
do you think insulting the president's seat or insulting him as a person?
In both ways.
Okay, you think it goes both ways?
It's both ways.
Okay.
Because him being the president is there in the public figure. as the president.
Okay.
So you can either insult the office of the president, or you insult his personality. So what I'm trying to say is that in as well we are human beings, we have this right, but our right differs from another. You cannot just say somebody randomly, even though the person did something wrong to you.
Yes,
Choose their methodology, their procedure for you to
For you
go
to
in.
follow. Okay.
So that is why the subsection 3 of section 39 empower the state to make laws to checkmate that section 39 that provide for expression of freedom of
Freedom of
expression
expression.
and of the press.
Okay.
So, but this is there for us to be able to make sure that everything is checkmated so that it is not abused. And that is why that section is there, and the law provide that this freedom of the checkmate, and also it's not obsolete.
Okay. So
Thank you.
Okay. So the argument where he is saying that the right to freedom of expression is not an absolute.
Most
Yes.
definitely.
Okay. So, Barrister Mudirat,
Yeah.
the next question is who you. Now, we've seen that Senator Ned Nwoko has made suggestions and also made some bills, has tried to pass some bills in the National Assembly, saying that, bill should be passed on the Cyber Crimes Act. So what is your take on this bill that the senator is asking to be passed by the National House of Assembly?
On a lighter note, we all know that nobody has been more on the forefront of or been a victim of all these bloggers and
Yes, please.
content creators as much as Ned Nwoko have been. So why I understand the sentiment on his bill for accountability
Okay.
for these bloggers and content creators, there's something I always say, when we weigh issues on the scale, on a scale, we should look for a greater good or a greater bad whatsoever. You get the point. So I understand that he wants a physical office for them for accountability.
Okay.
That will be, if that is done, it will be, it will in a way stifle rights to freedom of expression.
So you think people like do you think people like Gistlover should have physical offices?
I don't believe so. I think there should be regulation.
Regulation,
Yes, there
okay.
should be a regulation, indeed,
Okay.
to curb these people and to allow for transparency, yes, and then for legal and ethical way of presenting whatever it is you say online. But however, to go ahead to say they should have a physical office is not just for Gistlover alone, but for thousands of youth and young content
So,
creators.
Would you say that someone like Very Dark Man is an activist, or do you think he's someone who just always wants to encroach on other people's rights and just say anything he wants to do? 'Cause I know that there are thousands of suits, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
People have taken you to people like Chinwe, Mercy Chinwo
Yes.
have taken him to court, and I think there's also a case right now where the court has struck out. He just struck out
Yes.
the case between him and Femi Falana.
Yes.
So, do you also think that people like Very Dark Man should be what word, right? You should be checkmated in
Exactly.
situations like this.
Why whatever he's saying in most cases might be, maybe he's speaking on behalf of someone or whatever information. We have seen on several occasions where he said something that are not true. Another occasion, he has said some things that are true.
Yeah. Okay.
So now the thing is, to put sentiment aside, the thing is, for using Very Dark Man as a case study,
Yes.
why we need a regulation or a regulatory body or whatever to curb this particular segment or of freedom of expression of speech is that when you come outside to speak about someone or something that affects someone, you should be able to think, how reasonable is this thing I'm saying?
And how would you affect
How
this
will it
person?
affect the rights of this other person?
Yes.
How true is my story? Have I verified the story? If I verify the story, this thing I'm saying, how does it affect that person I'm talking about? That's just the regulation that should be put in place. But not that you should ask for a physical office where you can go and catch
Then
somebody because they say something. You know, it will stifle freedom of expression,
Yes,
and our
okay.
youth might not have opportunity for them to speak
and to express
and
themselves
to express themselves more and well enough.
more. Okay.
Well, if I may come into that,
Okay.
I think I want
Yes,
that
please.
question to pass me back.
Okay.
Well, you know, there's a sense on the lateral ground, and without not shaking anything. There's, you know, if you are a blogger, you are into business. You know, it's those days that bloggers don't receive penny, maybe for example. But now, I think bloggers, they are being paid for blogging.
Yeah, yes, they do on Instagram.
Because if you find out, if they are not being paid, if a business is not lucrative, nobody is, it won't be existing.
Okay.
If a profit or commission or form of remuneration is not coming in, it won't be. So I'm even as well, I'm not in support of restriction of expression of right and or the press, but it must be done with every form of sensibility.
Okay.
Anybody that is in that business must do it with every form of. Somewhere we do say that senseless, this senseless is must there must be a lot of sense in it.
Okay, so
Now, if a bill is before the National Assembly for every bloggers and related activity to that must have a physical office. It's a business. So why won't you have a place? Would you have a face in your business?
So you're saying, so long as what you're saying is sensible, you should have a place of business.
It is a business.
Yes, okay.
You are expected, because if you are taking blogging as a business, you are expected number one to register it with all the relevant agency. And whatever you are saying, that's got to be. If you are a business of truth, you are got to be. There's going to be an altar of truth in everything you are saying.
Okay.
You shouldn't be in the business
So-
just to disgrace friends.
First, I'm wondering, what do you-
Because
I definitely beg to
what do you-
differ because I feel like this aspect of freedom of expression is delicate because we have seen in the past where, let me say, for example, some
Okay.
politician, without mentioning names, right, will go, in fact, if they could strangle someone for saying a particular thing at a particular time, they are going to do that. I don't know if you understand. So now going further to say they should have a physical office. Okay, for example, if Just Lover have a physical office, do you think he will be alive by now? This will stifle it. So though I understand what my colleague is trying to say, but I feel that for the greater good and for the bigger picture,
Okay, to,
physical office,
because of
it will
time,
make people afraid to talk.
because of time, I'm so sorry, but because of time. So, Mr. Ayodele, it's actually a very heated one. So, what do you think are the legal remedies for victims that have been defamed online by these said bloggers? So, what do you think are the remedies for them?
all right,
Legal remedies, rather.
is simple.
Okay.
For anyone that had been defamed, is the appropriate step for you to do is to seek for your civil rights
Yes.
in civil courts.
Yes.
So you are expected to sue for defamation, praying the honorable court with competent jurisdiction that for retraction of such defamatory statements or contents, also to demand for damages, and lastly, to seek for injunction. So either perpetual or any type of injunction.
But they also want.
So that is the remedy available for those that have been defamed and those that has been that were arrested, either legally or illegally, for their speech on or their expression of freedom
freedom of
and
expression.
of the press online. So that one is for them to, once it's illegal, is for them to approach the courts, particularly the federal courts, to fight for their fundamental
For human
rights.
rights, the breach of the fundamental
So
rights.
then from there, they will ask the courts that their personal liberty as the word breach upon, the dignity of human person as breach upon,
approached,
and every other right that is provided for under Section 34, Chapter 4 of the Constitution. I beg your pardon. So that's the remedy that is available. So it's simple and clear. And there are a lot of it in court today.
Course,
If you
yes.
go to federal court today, you will see thousands of fundamental rights.
Human rights cases.
Yeah,
Yes.
So I'm familiar with it because I'm currently doing some for my clients.
Okay.
Also, anybody that knows that is arrested illegally should get a lawyer to do the needful for him or her.
Okay.
I think I will stop there.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Barrister Ayodele. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll be wrapping up on the conversation with real thoughts. Stay with us. Thank you.
As a people and members of LJE Green Community, we share a deeper commitment to protect not only our environment, but also the rights and dignity of all individuals within our reach. Every day, we are faced with responsibility to uphold human dignity. If you see something happening around you, do not turn blind eye. We must act because that's where our role as ambassadors come in. Being an ambassador doesn't require any superpower. It requires awareness, compassion, and the willingness to speak up. If you see something, say something. It's our duty to stand up for justice and amplify the voices of those who can't speak for themselves. One voice can spark a movement, and together we can create a nation that values human life. You can reach us on 070-5236-8821 or visit our website at www.ljenigeria.org to report a violation. Remember, if you see something, say something.
Welcome back. Still on the discussion, freedom of expression and social media regulations in Nigeria. To round off this conversation, Barrister Ayodele, back to you again. What reforms would you propose to ensure Nigeria's social media laws strike a fair balance between protecting national interests and safeguarding citizens' rights?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question.
Okay.
Because that is the way forward,
Yes.
and that is the way to go.
Yes.
Before I have about 5 reform, but before I will make mention of them, I have this statement to make, in the sense that our laws, the lawmakers,
Yes,
must
please.
make sure that our laws are precise,
Yes.
not overly broad.
True.
Because if you look at it, because of lack of preciseness of our laws, it gives room for everybody become a judiciary. Because the duty of the judiciary is to interpret our laws. So everybody is saying, no, this is this is this.
Yeah.
Even down to the extent that when court give judgment, and you don't apply for that judgment to read the mind of the judges and the letters of the court, you say everybody everywhere start interpreting. And oftentimes there's confusion and misleading.
Yes.
So to the first reform is, number one, to make sure that there is enactment of digital rights and freedom bill.
Enactment of data right and freedom.
And freedom bill. So it must be expedited as soon as possible, so that the rights of every Nigeria must be protected digitally. Secondly, there must be a judicial oversight
Okay.
to make sure that there's checkmate in terms of excessiveness, what is done online that is not is done properly, so it can be taken down and all, but in the caveat word of judicial oversight. Secondly, there must be promotion of digital literacy. And then
Can you please explain the digital literacy? Because I think, our generation today, everything we do is mostly online. So I want you to expand on.
yeah, you just made mention of it.
Yeah, okay.
Anything we do online,
Okay.
with our phone, with our laptop,
Yes,
with our
yes.
tablet, and every related is digital.
Yes.
So there must be a literacy education regarding that, because why some people are falling prey of all this is because they are not aware of what they are doing.
What is happening?
And ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
I agree.
So if you do something wrong to me, I say, I don't know. If I have no, I won't do it.
Yes.
I was in a court, in live camp, I caught I think, day first day, on Tuesday, and a litigant approached me and said he wanted to ask me some question, that something that happened that brought it to court. I said, don't worry, before I will answer you, you have to confirm that you pay my consultation fee.
Okay.
And the person, okay, no problem. After seeing everything, and I said, my consultation fee is also a matter of money. Send it to me. And I said, no, now. I don't know now. I said, no. Our laws provide that once you are consulting a lawyer, you must pay. So
Yeah.
ignorance of the law is never an excuse. So there must be an educational methodology that must be in place to educate the populace. And I don't know the number I am, but which the last one I missed the number of,
Right.
but the
It's
last one
fine.
is inclusive stakeholder engagement.
Okay.
There must be constant engagement with everybody so that everybody is checkmate.
Okay.
Both those in the agency, in terms of prosecuting, or those making the content, expressing their opinion, everybody must be aware of everything, what they are supposed to do. If you look at Cybercrime Act, for example, you'll see that some agencies have used this as a tool to either arrest some people and all. So there must be a review. So which leads me to the last reform. There must be a total review of the Cybercrime Act. Because if you look at some of the protests on April 7 by some group, you'll see that that's one of their demands. And truth be told, it has been used to make arrests, either lawful or unlawful,
Unlawful
in court,
arrest, yes.
of some Nigeria, and we are all suffering from it. So that law should be reviewed totally. Some of the clauses or sections that is in that law that is not friendly, it should be taken. Laws are made for human being. Yes, sir. So it is for us to, if there is no human being, there won't be any law.
Any law.
So we should make it to have to wear an human face so that it will be friendly. If law is good, nobody will go against it. So those are the recommendations for reform that I will make mention of.
Thank you.
That's very
Thank you
impressive.
Thank you very much, Barrister Ayodele, for giving us that brief reform.
Thank
So,
you.
Ms. Munirat, so in your opinion, how can we, the legal practitioners and citizens, advocate for both freedom of expression and responsibility in the online behavior?
Thank you very much, Izoram. As legal practitioners, we must lead by example. For example, educating the public on their rights
Okay.
and the limits of those rights. We should also, at times, engage in public discourse, support digital literacy initiative, and push for consistent, transparent, and rights-based regulations, like he has
He
said.
said,
Now.
yes.
So it's not just about all this beautiful legislation you just mentioned now, but the fact that as lawyers, since we are aware that things like this should be done, then we should keep pushing until this thing is in place.
Or so that we can, all these things can
Exactly,
be implemented accurately.
exactly.
Okay.
And citizens, on the other hand, must understand that freedom of expression comes with verifying information, avoiding defamation, and promoting respectful dialogue. Once this is done, then there will be a balance between freedom of speech and you encroaching on someone else's rights.
Okay. Thank you, Barrister Munirat, for that.
You're
Thank you, Barrister Munirat and Barrister Ayodele, for being here. I am
Thank you for having us.
I'm so grateful. Thank you both. And we have come to the end of this segment. So our viewers, remember, your voice is powerful, but with that power comes with great responsibility. Join us next time on Justice, a Lawyer's Hangout, and follow us on all social media handles as LJE Nigeria. Until then, bye. Thank you.